Welcome back to the Pop of the Man podcast. I'm your host, Jay. With me today, I have a full house. We have every co-host of the Pop of the Man podcast in attendance. We first and foremost, we have my right-hand man, DeLon. What's up, DeLon?
You already know what it is, Minnesota. What my shit? Minnesota Maniac, Mississippi. I forgot it. Hey, Jordan, how you doing?
We have the one and only Cord joining us today. What's up, Cord?
How you been? Yellow bonus, what do you want? Product me in St. Laurent.
We have the number one Suns fan of the nation. We got Cam with us. What's up, Cam?
Hey, man, you already know what it is, Suns Nation. And your interesting fact of the week is that the Golden State Warriors are the only team in NBA history to start 5 rookies in a game. It was in 2012, the last game of the season.
2012, last game of the season.
Yep. The starting lineup was Klay Thompson, Charles Jenkins, Chris Wright, Jeremy Tyler, and Mikkel Gladness. I'm sorry.
Nobody but Klay.
All right. Of course, Klay will be part of that weird ass stat. We have the Murder Mitten Cowboy. We got John with us. What's up, John?
What up? Not live from the Murder Mitten today. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the second murder capital where niggas murder for capital. You know what I'm saying? Chi-town. You know?
Wait, is he upside down on everybody else's screen? I just want to make sure I ain't tripping.
No, it's just you.
It's just you. And joining us also today, we have our basketball analyst. We got Jaquez. What's up, Jaquez?
Hey, man, that's Coach Bragg to y'all boys now, man. You know, I'm certified now.
Talk to him. Talk to these niggas.
Hey, man.
Please.
All right. Now, you know we do. We give our takes on basketball, music, and everything in between. This is episode 124 of the Pop of the Man podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe, like, comment. If you're listening to this on any streaming platform, give us 5 stars. You know, do that whole thing. Share with your friends, your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your girlfriend, all that kind of stuff. Share the link. But anyway, next week we will not be putting out a formal episode where we talk about basketball and music. We'll be uploading another installment of our album club series, which will, I think we covered, what album did we cover, DeLon? Hell Have No Fury by the Clips. So with that being said, but that episode will be exclusively on YouTube. So if you want to see our episode next week, make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube and you'll see that episode of Hell Have No Fury by the Clips. So make sure you guys go to our YouTube, Pop of the Man podcast, and subscribe. But other than that, no announcements. Well, follow us on Twitter at Podcast Man. But other than that, no announcements. Let's get into the show. This is the first time that we've had all 6 members on the podcast, I think, since we said last summer. The podcast is back, but also Logic is back, kind of back. He announced on his Twitter that an artist is his friend, an artist that he knows, is releasing a new album. His name of the artist is Doc D. And that I think he announced it over 2 weeks ago that he was releasing this mixtape. So basically, he released a mixtape under the moniker Doc D, which now has led a lot of people to question if he is biting, because as we know, underground legend Dr. Doom, well, no, MF Doom, not Dr. Doom, that's the fictional character. MF Doom passed December the 3rd. No, he was announcing he passed December the 30th. And now Logic is releasing a mixtape with an alternative persona, and the character is wearing a MF Doom-esque mask, and his name is Doc D. So it's very close to MF Doom's persona. So a lot of people are asking because Logic has a history of doing these kind of things where he seems to use his influences very heavily to the point it feels like he's copying them or stealing their ideas. So guys, is Logic biting, or is he reciting Word to Lil Wayne?
He's showing love, man. I'm gonna say this. I really like Logic. I rock with Logic. I just think you one of those artists. I'm gonna say this. I feel like every artist does this, but big artists do it to artists that's so small that we barely notice it. But Logic does it to the biggest, most influential rappers that's out at the time. So it just looks like over the top biting.
So I'm gonna say this, Cole. Would that not mean that the typical big artists are stealing, and that Logic, who usually shows direct tribute, he always reminds people hey, this is exactly where this came from. And since he tells us, wouldn't it mean that other artists are you want to usually steal, and Logic is actually the one who's actually showing showing tribute to these artists?
Oh, that's how I look at it.
What do you think?
I'm gonna say that because he was a few artists that he don't have no problem with saying, I got love for this person. This song inspired me. It was this verse that made me want to do this. But like he'll list off everything. And I feel like when you do that, like people can't hold it against you. Just being honest.
Delon, as a Logic apologist, how do you feel about this?
Man, listen, man. The thing is, like, I didn't get to listen to it in depth. I kind of cycled through the first 8 songs real quick. But from what I hear, even the music is still pretty much in his wheelhouse. It's not too different because he's been having the whole intergalactic storyline going across all of his albums. And this character, Dr. Destruction, kind of has the same thing with it. So even it still ties into the original story he's been having. But, I don't think it's a problem at all. I can see why this is the first time he didn't like specifically say this is a MF Doom reference, because he did try to get it off as like this is the artist I signed to try to add a little intrigue at first. So I'm sure like in a week or so the direct line of this is MF Doom's gonna come out. But yeah, I don't think it's a problem at all.
And like I know we one of our friends, the homie, shout out to Grant. He said that he had a problem with it because like MF Doom just passed, and then you release a mixtape that's heavily influenced by his image, and it seems like you're almost trying to like, I guess you could say some people feel like he's trying to like overtake that market now that MF Doom is gone, and that's what some people think. But with that being said, I told Grant, I was like, let's wait and hear what the music sounds like, because if he's on there trying to rap like MF Doom, rapping over MF Doom beats, then that means he's like bar for bar, word for word, trying to copy and be MF Doom on this mixtape, which I do think would be highly disrespectful. But listening to the mixtape, the music don't sound like the production don't sound like anything MF Doom would rap over. He's not rapping like MF Doom. He did a voice modulator, so he made his voice a little bit deeper, so he doesn't sound like the same person. But it doesn't sound like MF Doom. His style of rapping isn't like MF Doom. There's nothing like, just if he didn't name the character Doc D, you wouldn't even think of MF Doom while listening to the project. And so hearing the music, it is not a ripoff of him. It's just very weird that he promoted it in a way that portrayed him in a similar way to Doc Doom. But I don't get why he did that. He could have easily have done this. Like he could have thought of another alias that's just as menacing, that had zero like affiliation with MF Doom. So I don't understand this wanting to link the two if their music is nothing alike.
Well, Rashad did. Logic is a person who's had characters this whole time, so I just chalk it up to what it is. But Rashad did point out that Logic referenced that he was going to do this in a song like a year ago. So I don't think it's so responsive to MF Doom's death. Mm-hmm. Also, one thing that really stuck out to me is he only put it on DatPiff. It's not on streaming services. It's not for sale. So the fact that it's not like trying to get a profit off of the MF Doom likeliness, that is also a thumbs up for me.
And I will say this too, is like Logic is also a big guy in terms of wanting to put people on, because I mentioned the same thing to Rashad, where Logic did a song 100 Miles of Running on Young Sinatra 4. 100 Miles of Running is the name of a Wale mixtape / song. So he ended up doing the song. He did a remake of the song on his album, and then he featured Wale on it. So that by doing this, you give Wale a good look, because now people are going to look 100 Miles of Running up Wale, and sometimes instead of that song popping up, his mixtape will actually pop up, and they're like, I kind of like Wale. Here's his mixtape. Now Wale has made a new fan. So like I said, Logic does stuff like this, but sometimes it can be good because the artist will actually end up getting exposure. So not people talking about, wow, this kind of makes me think of MF Doom. MF Doom was an underground legend, meaning that a lot of people actually did not know him. So by doing this, a lot of people could be introduced to his music. That's one good way to look at it in that light.
You gotta look at all the young people that listen to Logic. So he really putting them on to something they probably ain't never heard before.
Exactly. I mean, like even people our age don't know. I mean, MF Doom. Like we was in a group chat and we put it in there, and we had like 3 people say, "Who's this?" Yeah, and I'm like, and at first I thought that was kind of crazy. I don't know. I thought MF Doom was just like a recognizable face in hip hop, because he's literally the only rapper in the genre that walks around with like a steel mask on. But that just shows it made me feel like a nerd. But shout out to Logic. His rapping sounds good. The sci-fi stuff he throws in there, because like basically the mixtape is a project from the year like 700 years in the future or some shit like that, and the artist time traveled into the past to give us the album, and like there's commercials from the future on there, and it's a little too nerdy and sci-fi for me, but I appreciate him doing like adventure stuff, doing cool stuff like that, bringing new stuff to hip hop. So shout out to Logic. Yeah, do you guys think this will be something he could expands on? Like, do you think he's going to continue releasing things as Doc D and never release anything else as Logic?
Man, I'm gonna say this: where he's at in his life, man. I just want Logic to do whatever make him happy.
Yeah,
that's all I want.
That's very nice, Cord. I'm trying to remember. The Cord always did speak highly of
That's
Logic.
uncharacteristically nice.
Yeah, it's very uncharacteristic.
Okay, I'm gonna say that, and the reason why I always let Logic cook is he don't complain. Like, he just come out, drop his music, show love to his fans. He show love to other artists. When people don't like his music, he'll just be like, okay, I'll try harder next time. Like 6 months later, he'll drop another project.
Fair enough.
I ain't gonna say he unproblematic, but okay, that's not scratching. Ain't because he unproblematic. He just come off as a really cool, genuine dude that just does music. Like, he legit just be doing music that make him happy.
Biracial Bobby.
Hey, what's your question?
He's biracial.
No, I tried I spent an entire afternoon trying to find that one damn video, bro. I'm so mad I can't find it. It's nowhere. It's not in my bookmarks. It's not in my likes. I can't find it anywhere. God, I should download that video when I had a chance. But shout out to Bobby Biracial, a legend. Moving on to the first basketball topic of the afternoon, we're going to talk about NBA rivals. The NBA has had rivalries dating all the way back to Bird and Magic, the Celtics and Lakers. Even before them, there was a rivalry already between them.
Bill Russell and racism.
Yeah, Bill Russell and racism.
The Bulls and Pistons.
Bulls and the Pistons. Then I'm not gonna say those guys. That was too much of a rivalry. But
you got a new age rivalry. The Warriors and the Cavs.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say.
Yeah, that was a rivalry.
It's more so Warriors and LeBron.
Yeah,
it is.
And we're gonna.
I ain't gonna say Warriors and LeBron.
No, at that point you gotta put Steph and LeBron. Yeah,
y'all just sticking y'all toe in the topic.
We're gonna talk about it. But first, let's go right into it. So I was gonna ask you guys what your favorite rivalries are in NBA, but it might be better to start here. Who has been LeBron's biggest rival? Because people love to say that like Kobe was his rival for no reason, even though they never had a playoff game against each other and they actually loved each other. I don't understand why they're rivals. They like to say that some people say Tim Duncan, but really it's really the Spurs. I don't really see.
They only played each other twice in the playoffs. They got 1-on-1 on each other, right?
Yeah. No, they played each other 3
times.
No,
1 and 2.
Yeah.
1 and 2.
Yeah, he's
it's 3. Yeah, because they got swept in 07, and then they traded.
Damn, they got swept in 13.
He won 1 and he lost 1.
Talk about it, Jock. Talk about it.
The Celtics is really the big 3 versus Celtics. Like, I don't think you compare any one player to Bron. I mean, him and Paul Pierce used to go.
Paul Pierce will come fight you.
Him and Paul Pierce used to go toe to toe against each other, but really the rivalry was
because they guarded each other. Yeah.
Yeah, but the rivalry was the big 3 versus LeBron. It wasn't Paul Pierce versus LeBron. It was more so it was 3 all-stars versus LeBron, and then Paul Pierce happened to play the same position as LeBron. So then
and he was the face. He was the face of the franchise. He was there the longest.
You know what I'm saying?
He was the OG Celtic.
Exactly. And so then there's this is like a plethora of people because LeBron is so great. He's been in the playoffs over and over again. It's a plethora of people he's actually played against. There's the PG Pacers who he played against multiple times in the Eastern Conference Finals, but he beat them all those times. There's the Toronto Raptors who he kills every time he met them in the playoffs. Not really a rivalry either. No, definitely not. That's a different word than rivalry. The word I probably can't say on the podcast to describe what LeBron do to the Raptors. Then, like I said, so with that, my question is Steph Curry LeBron's biggest rival? Those two have met each other in the finals. What is it? 4 times? Yeah, 4 times.
Yeah, 4 times.
Yeah.
They made each other 4 times.
4 in a row.
4 times in a row. Is Steph Curry LeBron's biggest rival?
I think so, because at one point Steph even rivaled LeBron as the face of the league. Like at the height of Steph's career, like he was right up there with LeBron. Like when people who don't even watch basketball or care for the NBA, like they knew those two names. Like everybody knows those two names. So I think that Curry is his biggest rival, just for that simple point. That's just more outside of basketball.
So Cam, let me ask you this: why wouldn't KD, who is for the longest been deemed a top 2 player, deemed the only player that could possibly be better than LeBron? Even right now, a lot of people think that he's probably the best player in the league. Why isn't he LeBron's rival over Steph Curry?
That's part of it because he went with Steph, and then another part of it too is that he hadn't enjoyed the same playoff success as Steph had without Steph. Mm-hmm. Like, and then the one time that they did play in the finals, it was, I mean, obviously LeBron had, I would say, the much better team in the moment, but also LeBron also dominated him in that finals that they did play. So, I mean, I would say that's part of the reason why. And honestly, but I mean, in terms of if we're just talking basketball, I would say KD is his rival because I don't think Steph is in the same. I don't know. I don't really know how we're going to do this all time, but I would feel like KD is probably going to end up being a better player all time than Steph is when we had this conversation. Now, granted, the discussion that they have will Steph changing the game and stuff like that might push Steph up a few ladders, but I mean, in terms of just a better player, I mean, I would take KD. So I don't know why the narrative isn't KD, but I mean, you've had KD having injuries. LeBron's really never injured. Them being in 2 different conferences and not meeting in the finals often, part of it. It's kind of like a LeBron and Kobe thing. But then when they finally did, I mean, KD had the overpowering team, so it kind of wasn't, I won't say it wasn't fair, but, you know. So yeah.
And I want to repeat, I do not see Kobe and Bron as rivals. I never really understood that.
I mean, for that, I think it was just mainly just like the same thing with it's hard to, you know, if you take out of the account, like if KD did not go to the Warriors, he would win any other team or he would stay at OKC. I don't think people would put even if they did say, you know, they were rivals just because they were, you know, the top 2 guys in the league, you know. It's like, you know, when they play each other on Christmas or, you know, just a regular season game, it's a marquee game, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be on at like 8:00 at night on a Sunday or something like that. Like it was the same thing, you know, like Kobe, you know, rest in peace, Kobe and LeBron at their peaks, they're the top two guys in the game. So it's like, you know, when they did play each other, it was a moment, you know what I'm saying, where they played each other in the All-Star game or they played each other, you know, in a regular season game. Granted, which is still nuts to me. They never met in the finals because just, you know, that's how it works. But they never met in the finals. You know what I'm saying? LeBron didn't go to the West until Kobe was out of the league. So it's just one of those things, like they're the top 2 guys in the league. So it's like, okay, you got 1A and 1B. You got Kobe, you got LeBron. It's like, even though they're not rivals, you got the top 2 niggas in the game. So obviously, you know, we're going to call them rivals because it's like the only person who you could argue was better than one nigga was that other nigga. So it's like that's why it's like, which is like, you know, me being an avid Kobe fan, it's like, you know, that's just how it went. You know what I'm saying? You always going, you know, at that point, especially at that time, you always going to take one guy over the other. You know, oh, if they met in the finals, you're going to take blah blah blah. But the thing is, they never met. So yeah, it's kind of silly that people will call them rivals. And like you said, like they had a you know, a great love and a great respect for each other. You know, if you watch those videos from, you know, the USA teams and shit like that, the backstage, like the All-Star games, you know what I'm saying? Like those guys had an undying respect for each other. So I think when people attribute them having a rivalry, I think that's all it was, because at the peak of you know, Kobe's career, you know, when Kobe was that dude for, you know, 8 to 10 years, so was fucking LeBron. So it's like, you know, it's unfortunate we never got to see those guys play in the finals, because I'm pretty sure, you know, that's any you know, basketball NBA fan, like that's one thing that we all wanted to see and we never got, was Kobe and LeBron in the finals.
Big fact.
Dwight Howard.
Shouts out to Dwight Howard.
I'm gonna say it's Steph, and I'm gonna tell y'all why it's Steph. What's the one thing?
It's easily Steph.
Okay. What's the one thing that makes LeBron that he chases after? His legacy. And the reason why Steph Curry is going to always be his biggest rival is for one reason and one reason only: unanimous MVP. Remember when Steph got the unanimous MVP and everybody was like, "Oh my God, he did it! He did it! He did it!" I know LeBron was at the crib fuming. It was supposed to be me.
Oh God!
Now that he got the first, and even to this day, he's still the only one. Like nobody had ever done it. And
not even Jordan. Not even
Jordan. That year when it happened, that's when all the narrative started. I'd rather have and the thing about it, we had never heard anybody say this. I would rather have Steph on my team than LeBron. Yeah, y'all remember that year when all the GMs was coming out making a little list of they would rather have who's the better leader, who's better in the clutch, who this, that, and the third. And that's why
they all took Steph.
Yeah, and that's why from that moment forward, every time LeBron played the Warriors, he did his best to embarrass Steph. Because there's just like getting the unanimous MVP. I don't think that's ever gonna be done again. Ever.
Probably not.
No, definitely not.
No matter what LeBron does, Steph gonna always have that one thing over his head.
So
I think that's right.
Which is still wild to me because LeBron had a great season that year. Like that's nuts to me. Like me, granted.
Nah, bro. Steph was that year. Steph was really doing some stuff, dog. I ain't gonna lie. It's not even wild.
No,
Steph was in his bag.
He was, but LeBron did not get one first place vote. That's wild to me. Jordan, like if you look at the stats, I mean, was that the 72? Was that the 73-9 year?
Yeah, that's why he got it.
Yeah.
That's why he got it. That's why they got it. Because the year before that,
if you look at stats, bro, it's like if you look at stats, man, it's like granted, he won MVP. It was unanimous. Like Steph had a fucking superb season, but like. If you look at, if we're just looking at the eye test, we're just looking at stats. There have been statistically better seasons than Steph's year, and he was the first one. Like, he's the only one.
No, John.
That's the year that Steph averaged 30 points and then shot 50, 40, 90. They ain't too.
He was gone.
And it wasn't like he barely shot 54. He shot 45 from three. I'm looking at the stats. 45 from three. 50 from the field, man, 90% from the free throw.
How many 3-point attempts a game, Jacquez?
11.
Ooh, Jesus. Okay, never mind. 11. I retract my statement.
With getting you 7 assists, I think he was a steals leader that year too, because he averaged 2.1 steals a game. He may have been a steals leader that year too, and with 5 rebounds.
Nah, that's
how many assists you said? You said 7.
Yeah, 7.
Yeah, well, 6.7. 7.
Yeah, but that's 7. Okay.
That's
okay. Yeah, I retract my statement because I knew he was efficient, but I didn't know that nigga was shooting 45% with 11 attempts. Okay, never mind. I retract my statement. That nigga was going stupid.
Can y'all imagine how much we would hear about the unanimous MVP from Bron Staines and Bron? Like if Bron had got the unanimous MVP, we would never hear the end of it.
It'd be a wrap, bro. We never hear the end of it.
I'll be honest.
That's why I wish Steph had got a Finals MVP, because if he had that Finals MVP, there's literally nothing you can say is wrong with his career. Like that's literally the only thing people can hold against him.
I'm gonna say this:
is that not getting the Finals MVP?
I'm gonna say this: Curry fans would bring it up every time they had a chance. If he actually won that Finals that year, he lost. So that's why they don't bring it up that much. But I'm gonna ask you this:
because he definitely would have won it. He definitely, if they would have won that year, they lost. If they the year they lost to the Cavs, he easily would have won it. Yeah, because he had a great series.
Exactly. So my last question on this topic: who does LeBron have a current rival? Because now we talked about like why are these two rivals? Because they haven't made the playoffs. Ever since Giannis did the "I'm the king now" shit, and they beat the Lakers last year. They've been playing up LeBron and Giannis to be rivals, and then there's also the inner city rivalry between.
Yeah, I was going to say more so Kawhi is his rival.
I was about to say Kawhi. I'm about to say Kawhi.
Yeah, do you guys see Giannis or Kawhi as LeBron's current rival?
Definitely last year. I know a lot of people were talking real spice after Kawhi winning one with the Raptors, and they was like, I ain't gonna stunt. That's the best player in the league. Like a lot of people were saying that, LeBron took a step back on defense that year too. So a lot of people was talking real spicy.
Yeah, because they
more so. I feel like if the Clippers hadn't lost the way that they lost, then I think it would still be more talk like that. But because of the way that they went out, then that's why niggas like, all right, maybe we was fucking wilding.
Because I'm gonna say because the Clips been looking great this year, but I don't think nobody gonna catch the playoffs hard.
No,
nobody's gonna care the playoffs hard.
They're not. And the thing, which is funny because Kawhi has a proven record, so it's like even like every other superstar when they have blunders, people still give them the benefit of the doubt. Like Dirk was number 1 seed, lost to the 8th seed before in the first round.
Suns, shouts out to the Suns. I think the Suns. When the Suns came,
that was the Grizzlies. I'm pretty sure.
Grizzlies.
It was Grizzlies.
Or was the Warriors?
No, it was Warriors.
Was
Warriors.
it
the Warriors? Oh, okay.
It wasn't us.
And
we believe the We Believe team. It was a We Believe team.
And they also had another. He had another very, very bad series. I can't remember what it was, but nobody really brings that up. Like there's a lot of superstars who have like they have a bad series, but nobody ever. But like for instance, LeBron had a bad series against the Mavericks, but nobody ever says in the regular season, "Well, wait and see what LeBron do." No, he's already showed you what he does in the playoffs. So I think that's silly to say that.
It's LeBron.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I'm saying that they say that about like no other star does bad in one series, and then people from that point on are like, let's see what he do in the playoffs when he's already done in the playoffs. Kind of like KD. Like KD had that bad.
No. I don't think Kawhi gets as much flack as PG. I think PG. I think they be on PG more so than Kawhi. I think they do give Kawhi the benefit of the doubt. Like like even after that loss, like even like fresh after that loss, I didn't really hear too many people calling Kawhi's name. I think it was more so they was on PG.
They put it all on PG and Doc.
It was mostly
like,
PG.
I saw.
Don't forget Montrezl here.
Montrezl, that boy was god awful. Yeah, I saw like little to damn near no flack for Kawhi after they got put out last year. It was all PG, Kawhi, and Montrezl. I don't think I saw one tweet that put any fault on that series. On Kawhi, yeah. Not to my recollection.
Which I don't get. But it's also funny because I think Kawhi really embraces the rivalry. Doing the commercial talking about this is his city now. Because Kawhi is not a very outspoken person, so it's so funny to see a person who's very quiet do a brace of things to show that I acknowledge LeBron James, and I think I want to be better than him. So much of the fact that he could have went to the Lakers and he chose like I'm not going to the Lakers. I'm gonna go to the exact same city as him, the team across the hall, and I'm gonna compete against him. I'm gonna try my damn hardest to beat him, like face straight up. I respect it.
So I got a question for y'all. Who was Michael Jordan's rival?
No
one. The Pistons, like Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah. I don't think no one player was. It was like Jordan's rival because like when we talk about Jordan, we talk about bad boy Pistons. We don't really talk about Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas sees it that way in his mind. He see it as I was beating I was beating Jordan ass.
It was really Bill Laimbeer.
That's right. Literally.
Isaiah Thomas is to LeBron as Paul Pierce. I mean, Isaiah Thomas is to Jordan as Paul Pierce is to LeBron.
Yeah, he'll put
facts. But in his early years, he always ran up to the Celtics and he was running up against the Pistons like every single year. It was one of those two. So I guess you could say those are his. I won't say those really rivals though. That was more so humps that he had to get over because once he got over those humps, like he just beat the fuck out of everybody from then on out. Like, legit.
Cam, I think MJ's Paul Pierce would more be Reggie Miller because it says he did a lot more than actually did.
Nah, because Reggie Miller never actually beat Jordan. That's the thing.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
He never actually.
That's my point. Because I guess okay.
Yeah, he'll say. Yeah.
I'm about to say, but PG actually beat LeBron. Like Reggie that never did that to MJ.
Yeah. Right. And same thing with Paul. Same thing with Paul Pierce. Oh wait, same thing with Isaiah Thomas. I also beat Jordan. But I brought that up to say that the same way we don't see Jordan as having a true single solitary rival, I think it's gonna be the same way with LeBron. I think that we may have this point in time in his career where we say possibly Steph, but in reality, I know for me personally, I never questioned whether Steph was better than LeBron. I knew, and then LeBron went and exposed him, and then he went and got KD. So I definitely feel like we're gonna look back and be like, nah, LeBron like really didn't have a rival. He had niggas who were close to him, whereas when we look at Michael Jordan, we don't really see anybody who was close to him. But like when we look at,
see, that's the thing. That's the reason why I said that it was his rival was because at no point did anybody ever who Jordan ever played rival him as the face of basketball. Like once Jordan became the face, he was the face, the final face. Steph Curry, 2015, 2016, 2017.
I mean,
he was
I don't
like
know.
legit, like the
I
face of
think
basketball.
I think that may have been like a media push narrative too. I think the media that we have today that reports every day was trying to push that narrative because Steph was younger than LeBron, and then we're like, all right, we need somebody else to be the face after LeBron's gone. I don't think that Steph actually ever truly was the face of basketball. Personally, that's just how I feel.
Oh, wait,
I
hold on.
wouldn't say that just because he literally had the whole league shooting threes. He had little kids wanting to be Steph Curry
he
shooting
changed
threes.
the game.
And it was the whole thing that, Steph is just like us. Steph is, 6'1", 6'2", on a without shoes on, and he's out there rivaling these 6'8", 6'9", 7 foot, and he's dominating. And he's making them look silly. And I think people, that whole relatability thing.
And also, he had the whole league playing small ball, even though they can play.
Yeah, they had the whole he really revolutionized the game. Like, far as influence, his influence on the game was crazy. So yeah, he was definitely was a face of basketball at the height of his career.
And I'm saying, I think what really gave him the edge was LeBron was like a freak of nature. Like, nobody, ain't no regular everyday person can say they LeBron. A lot of people feel like they can be Steph.
Yeah, a whole lot of people. Which you can't, which is completely wrong. But a lot of people say, I can go and work on my jump shot and Steph Curry. No matter how much I will and believe and want to, I can never be LeBron.
Exactly. You can envision yourself being more Steph than LeBron. Like, LeBron is arguably the greatest actor to ever live. So.
And then he was the babyface assassin. He had the whole family thing going on. Like, everybody, he had the father son thing. And like, everybody just loved everything about Steph Curry. Like, there was no blemish to his character at that point. Up until they lost that 73-9 season. Up until that point, like, there was no blemish to his career at all. He worked his way to get to the league. He was he wasn't ranked in high school. Like, he had like a fairy tale career all the way up until he lost that finals.
That man came off the bench. That man came off the bench for Monte Ellis. You hate to see it.
All right.
Don't disrespect Monte like that, first of all. And also, this nigga daddy was in the NBA. I don't want to hear that. Like, he had a dream story. Yada yada. This nigga daddy was in the league.
I don't care.
No. We're not. No, just because your dad in the league worried to Michael Jordan's sons. That don't mean you make it to the league.
No, that
don't mean you make it to the league.
Them niggas were ass.
A lot of people, kids' sons be ass.
I get what Cam is saying. He's saying that, like, everybody says, like, I could be Steph. Like, Steph from the jump had an advantage because he came from a family of NBA players. And then
that's what
I'm saying. Like, he's not
6'8", 250. His dad, we don't know who his dad is. His dad was
that boy.
We know that for a fact.
I'm just saying
that boy LeBron was sleeping in his car.
It's kind of funny because LeBron actually came from extremely humble beginnings.
He came from the mud. LeBron came from the mud.
Yeah, like
but we said that you can't. No, but Steph Curry had to work to get to where he was. I remember watching a documentary. He had to change his jump shot his 11th grade year, and he was talking about how he was crying from like the pain of how bad it was, like, because his muscles wasn't used to being worked like that or whatever. He went from that, then he went to Davidson, then he went to averaging 30 in Davidson, becoming the most known college player in the league. Got to the league, got hurt, was hurt for like 3 or 4 years in a row, and then he finally becomes a unanimous MVP. Like, 6'3" light skinned kid? Who does that? Who else has done anything similar to that? That isn't 6'8", 6'9", 6'6", and gifted by God, then also has a skill.
The fact that no one has done that. The fact that no one has done that makes the story even less relatable. No one could do that but him.
Yeah. Also, in Cam's defense, his also small brother also made it to the league.
Hey man, his brother been hooping.
His brother a sniper. What you mean? They good.
That's the point. Like, we can't
but that don't mean that doesn't mean that you can't.
It's not just like any parent. Like you're not gonna your child isn't going to be Michael Jordan, even if you're Michael Jordan. But like having that parent that happened to have the skill set that was relevant to any person, he got 2 of them in there. So I mean,
because their dad was known as a sniper, and then he gave birth to 2 sons who end up being very, very good shooters. Like, there's a correlation between the two. Like, them both.
No, of course, I'm not saying there's no correlation, but I'm saying it's still very unlikely for a 6'2" point guard to become the face of basketball.
Oh yeah, that's
unlikely.
But I'm saying, like I get what Cam's saying. I get what you're saying. Like, you're saying that it's easy for people to relate to Steph because they see on the court a small guy dominating, and they're like, maybe I could be that. But in reality,
They can. Obviously.
In reality, he is just as gifted as LeBron, and the fact that
but NBA fans aren't realistic though. They're all everybody like people. You know what I'm saying? People shoot in the trash can. I'm Kobe. You never gonna be Kobe. Like if that's how we thinking about, we thinking about everything being realism. If we just killing the dream, the daydream. I'm talking about just people daydreaming and why they thought Steph was the face of basketball. Why that face comes up when you thought of basketball, because you can see yourself shooting threes and turning around and doing all the crazy stuff he was doing in 2016.
That's why I say that you and Cam are both right, because like you're right as in that's why people love Curry, but Cam is right as in they're very, very much wrong in assuming that hey, if I go out here and practice just like Curry did, I could shoot just like him one day. That is just not gonna happen.
No.
We're gonna talk about J. Cole. And we're gonna try to talk about J. Cole in a good light, despite what we do on this podcast sometimes. Well, despite what Corey does on this podcast sometimes. We're gonna talk about our favorite J. Cole albums. And we're talking about just the albums because a lot of people, when we talk about mixtapes, people just immediately say Friday Night Lights. So I thought it'd be a lot more fun when we talk about the albums. So Cam, let's start with you because you want to talk about this. So tell me, what is your favorite J. Cole album?
So I know a lot of people say 2014 Forest Hill Drive, and it's one of the greatest albums of J. Cole's career. Yada, all these records that broke, all this other good stuff. Cool, that's all fine and dandy. But the album that I fell in love with J. Cole and the album that I started listening to, which made me appreciate the genius of J. Cole, was The Sideline Story. Cold World, The Sideline Story. And the reason that album truly put him in another category than any other artist to me is because of his pure storytelling on this album. And it's listening to it and I'm like, this guy is able to, granted he did this beforehand, but there are multiple songs on this album where I listen to and I'm like, man, this is like next level. This is like next level relatability. This is next level. Shout out to Steph Curry. Next level relatability. Shout out to, I don't know why I said that again. But anyway, this next level relatability, next level storytelling, and next level, just word, being able to use stuff and make it sound and come full circle at the end of songs. It's I haven't listened to anything like it, and I haven't listened to anything like it since he's had songs like it, but never a complete album where he's able to do that. And he got a collab with Drake on it, and it's just a lot of good songs.
And he got 2 hits. Nobody's Perfect and Workout. So probably 2 of the biggest hits of his career. And so my favorite song on the album is Lost Ones. And I listen to it, and it's that. I still to this day listen to that song. I'm like, man, this nigga really did what he had to do on this one. But that is my favorite J. Cole album. It's my favorite album of, I would say, all time so far. But I am a big J. Cole fan because of this album, and I still defend him to this day because of this album, even though niggas say that he fell off after 2014.
And
hey, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. My pick is gonna be super different from everybody else, but the second half of KOD, I listen to that a lot. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I listen to it a whole lot from about the cutoff. Then you skip about 2 or 3 songs and go to Kevin's Heart. Then from Kevin Hart's down, I just let all that play. Just all the run through. Not even gonna lie to you.
What's some 2 or 3 songs you skip, Jacques? I gotta know.
Let me see. I gotta go to.
I feel like I know, but I just want to hear you.
We know.
ATM and Motivate.
Yeah, I hate Motivate. I actually
but granted, ATM is actually pretty decent. ATM is decent. Is actually decent, but that was the one that the NBA played out. Wasn't that the one?
Yeah,
they played that one out for me, so that's why I removed it.
ATM, I really do enjoy that song. Especially after seeing the music video, I really like it. But Motivate. I don't like that, man. I don't like that.
Yeah. I had to get rid of Motivate just because ATM was a.
Do you be bumping Photograph?
No. That's I told you. I said second half. We on the second half, fam.
I was just wondering.
I said from the cutoff, you skip 2 songs, and everything else you let it play out.
Besides the hook, Photograph is a good song, but that hook is awful. God, that hook is awful. It's creepy.
I heard that. J. Cole is a king of making creepy, semi-creepy songs. Like that one song on that older mixtape where he was talking about loving this girl and then running the girlfriend's boyfriend off the road. So that, and then showing up to the funeral. It's like, hey, I'm sorry this happened to your boyfriend. Like that, dirty macking to another level, only from a light skin. Anyway.
Hey man, all light skin super villains. I've been telling y'all.
Name one light skin. Hey Cole, hold on. I thought you and Mero were reciting lyrics in the group chat the other day when y'all said that, because I think you said like all light skins are villains though, and
It's
then
facts.
Meryl said name one light skinned hero. And I like damn that shit rhyme. They were reciting lyrics. But anyway, I thought I thought that was lyrics from that Yellowbone song. I refused to listen to the whole thing. So I thought like
Bro,
damn,
please listen to it.
I thought that's a
Please.
bar. I thought that was a bar. Like all light skins are villains though.
Nah, hey,
One light
Danny
skinned
Lee
hero.
has no bars. I ain't gonna even hold you.
All right, DeLon, what is your favorite J. Cole album?
I don't think I have a favorite J. Cole album.
There we go.
No, it's not a J. Cole slander.
Niggas gonna
Like,
hate.
Let the hate
It's just like
veins.
Jordan really he chopped off my arm saying we can't talk about mixtapes. It's like J. Cole's whole career has been like he put out amazing mixtapes. My favorite mixtape of the decade, and then he'll get on his albums and just stop rapping. And then right before the next album, he'll put out like 3 amazing songs, or he's rapping very well, and they just don't show up on the album. And he does that every album cycle. But you know, process of elimination, I have to say Sideline Story. Because that's the last time I feel like he actually was rapping passionately. I'm going to specifically say Sideline Story Deluxe Edition, because that has Who Dat, which was the original first single. It didn't pop off. Then they took it off, and he made Workout. Damn, that song is disrespected because that's a great song. And then second, I'll say KOD. Actually, I really do enjoy KOD. There's the least amount of awful songs on that album.
Funny story. Who Dat was the first song I ever heard by J. Cole. It came on Pandora.
Yeah.
It came on Pandora Radio. I did not like it. I can't remember.
You know what? I'm actually a really big J. Cole fan. I hated it too.
I cannot
Can't Get Enough was on that album too, on the deluxe version.
Yeah. Oh, I love this one too.
I cannot remember what song was the song after hearing Who Dat that made me realize that okay, this guy's nice. I went back and listened to the rest of his music, but I did not like Who Dat.
Yeah, I remember Who Dat used to come on like BET 106 and Park. It was like the number one video for a long time, and I was like, man, this shit is trash. Get this nigga off of here.
Like, who is this? But I do remember that because I remember like people talking about I can't remember what rapper I was into, and like they was talking about I think that's what it was. That's why I listened to Cole. It was like this guy and this guy are next up. I'm like, bro, who the hell are these two rappers? And then I went and listened to them, and I was like, oh, okay, J. Cole nigga nice. I can't remember who the other rapper was.
Probably Wale.
I guess he wasn't nice, but my favorite J. Cole album would probably have to be Born Center. I remember that.
Another good choice.
I remember that day being like, big in hip hop because it was the Kanye versus J. Cole, and then also Mac Miller
Versus Mac.
which a lot of people didn't see it that way. Mac was really starting to come into his own, and that's when I just became a fan of him right before that album even got announced. And so I went and I burnt 3 CDs. I burnt one for Born Center, Yeezus, and Watch Me with the Sound Off. And I drove to the park. I drove to Ivy Park, Jacquez, and I was with Mero, and he was a J. Cole fan at that time too. So we put in, we said, we're going to save Kanye for last, because that was our favorite rapper at the time. We're going to save Kanye for last. We're going to play Born Center first. And man, I remember listening to all of Born Center and thinking to myself, like, I love every song on here.
Mm-hmm.
Like going back now, there's probably songs I like less, but I can't remember a song on Born Center where I was like, I don't like this. I can name songs like that on all the other albums for J. Cole for me, but Born Center was one I actually liked from beginning to end. I don't really listen to it that much now. Like if I listen,
I let Nas down.
That shit hurts.
And see, Jordan, I feel where you're coming from, because I feel like in totality, Born Center probably was a better album. But like, I just think like some of these songs on the Sideline Story make up for every song on it not being good. That's why I think
It's so painfully safe for me.
I think that and that's all I'm about to say. I think the highs on like KOD, on even For Your Eyes Only, Sideline Story, and 2014 Forest Hill Drive. Maybe not it. I don't know. I think the highs on almost all his other albums are higher than the highest high on Born Center, which is why I don't really go back to Born Center that much, because my favorite moments from J. Cole, none of my favorite moments are on Born Center, but it's a collection of very good songs.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to the Yours Truly series that was releasing around the same time as Born Center, more than I listened to those Born Sinner songs. But that was my favorite album, the one I enjoyed the most, and the one like if you told me go listen to a J. Cole album from beginning to end, I'll probably go turn it on because I ain't gonna want to sit through some. I ain't gonna sit
Jordan, who won that day to you?
That day, I think going back, I'm gonna say Mac Miller. I'm gonna say Mac Miller because that day, same day, we finished the story from listening to that. We listened to Born Sinner, loved it. We put in Yeezus next because Mary didn't care about Mac Miller, so I'm gonna play that with him anyway. We put in Yeezus next, and Meryl instantly started frowning when the first song came.
Wow.
It was like, listen, bro, what the hell is this? I said, I don't know. I enjoyed it, but at the same time, I was like, damn, I wish Kanye had, gave me a little bit more of the old Kanye, like he did on No Bound. But like, watch me with the Sound Off. That's an album I revisit often, play multiple songs off of it, and from beginning to end, I think it's a better album than the other two. So I think he won. I think he was the unofficial winner of that day. But ultimately, I think most people would say Yeezus was the actual winner of that day. I think it sold more than Born Sinner, and I think it's still talked about in passing conversation.
Yeezus won that day. Born Sinner sold more over time than Yeezus, and then Mac Miller has the highest critical reviews that day. So it's a funny day.
That kind of aligns with what I said. Crazy thing is, like I don't feel like J. Cole fans talk about Born Sinner. To be honest with you, like I rarely hear people talk about it. Like, and even we have like conversations about his best projects, because most time people talk about his mixtapes. Like nobody ever gonna try to say Born Sinner is his best project because they just,
J. Cole fans really don't talk about pre-2014 for himself.
I'm not gonna ask Cole what his favorite J. Cole album is because that's just an opportunity for him to be.
Hey, and I'm gonna keep it real with you. That's how I know this episode was playing without me, because as soon as I heard that topic, I said, yeah, they was not expecting me to be here.
Now, no, the thing is, I was expecting you to be here, and then I put this topic on here and said, these are topics, guys. Like this message if you want to be on the podcast episode, and you didn't like the message, and I said, that's probably why. That's probably why.
Well, okay. Well, shocking twist, I'm gonna agree with Jacquez, because even though I hate KLD with a burning passion for this first half, I really did enjoy like the last 3-4 songs on there a lot. And it kind of came back to my main argument about the album. Like, J. Cole always want to do like big grandstanding things where he want to talk about everybody else. And my main thing about rappers is we listen to you to hear about you. And when he got on the album talking about himself and his own personal problems and his family and what his mama was going through, that's when he at his best.
Yeah. I'll say this, and like kind of go back to Logic. Is over time you run out of your own stories to talk about that are compelling. You tell your most compelling stuff later on, because like this is what that was his 5th album at that time. Oh wait, yeah, that was his 5th album. So by
it was up there.
Yeah, so by that time he probably told all the stories. So sometimes I feel like you gotta get creative, you gotta get outside your bag, start telling other people's stories, but you gotta do it well though. Otherwise, it just comes across flat.
I don't never want to hear him rap like Ski Mask again though. I know that for a fact.
All right, so
I don't want to hear Ski Mask rap like Ski Mask again. So.
Oh wait, you know what's you also thought about something else was funny, was that like J. Cole had announced that he plans on doing a Kill Edward rap from a rap using a different persona, and he's gonna do that for the entire album. And I thought it was so funny because Logic is heavily influenced by J. Cole. And I wonder if he heard J. Cole say that, and that's when the idea was born that I should do something similar to that too. And he just happened to release his project before J. Cole did, because J. Cole's technically would have came out last year. Technically that album would have came out last year. But in a way, it's funny. So
it's funny because when I proposed this topic, I was just joking, but then we actually did it, and I feel so good now.
We do not hate J. Cole like you think we do, Cam.
No, not at all.
No, not Cord.
Okay. I'm gonna say this, Cam. I don't hate J. Cole. I just let me see. He's just one of them people where I feel like his heart is always in the right place. He just do the wrong things every single time.
That's fair.
And
he don't come off as a bad person though.
And Cole was like in my top 2. Like he was like 1A, 1B for Kendrick for a long time. And I feel like by my standards I had set for him, he just didn't reach it. And so a lot of times his music isn't bad by any means to me. It's just not what I how it's not as good as I want it to be because of what the mantle I had put him on. But I feel like DeLon feels around the same way. He likes Cole's too. It's just like
sometimes with J.Cole music, the food just never looks like it does in the commercial.
Yeah.
Disappointing.
Yeah.
And it go back to my point. If his music was like Kendrick, then he can come out and criticize everything. Or like if Kendrick came out and was like, I feel like rap should be this, that, and the third, I'd be like, oh, okay, cool. When Cole do, I'd be like,
I think Cole's justified in his bitching, but Cole ain't never wrong. I don't ever think Cole's wrong. I think he's out of place.
I don't see nothing wrong with Cole because that group of people he was talking about were actually slandering him for a long time, unprovoked, and like they did it repeatedly.
Kanye did nothing wrong.
Okay, I think he was right about all them. I think he was right about Kanye. I think he was right about No Name. He was just out of place for all.
Nah, man. You slandering a black woman. We can't let him cool.
Anyway, it's time for Who's Wildin'. We haven't done Who's Wildin' in like 5 months. Core.
Who's wildin'? J.Cole.
So Who's Wildin', for those who don't know, because Cord had not done his segment in a long time.
It's been a minute.
It has been a minute. Who's Wildin' is basically when Cord tells us somebody who's been wildin' to the absolute most. So Cord, who was wildin' the most this week?
Man, it goes to the one, the only Big Aristotle, Young Diesel, Shaq. Steal himself. Hey man, I like Shaq. I show love to all the centers, but he really been pushing it lately, man. He really been pushing. And I get it. All the legends want to criticize players. They want to push players to be better for the sake of the game and this, that, and the third. But he just be talking. Like when he came out and said what he said about Rudy, I don't get like, what's the point? Rudy got a super max. Okay, cool. I get it. He not you on offense, but he didn't get the super max for the offense. He got a super max because of defense. And I think he's a better defender than Shaq and a better rebounder. But that's a conversation for another day. But then Donovan Mitchell turned up. What did he put up? 36 on
36 in a win.
In a win. He won the game. Came in, put up numbers, turned the team into a pack. And in the interview, Shaq was like, well, you know, little man, I just want to let you know that I just don't think you're that good. I don't think you're a superstar. And Donovan Mitchell looked like he wanted to say that. He was like, it don't matter. People been down me my whole life. Well, I just want to let you know, I just don't think you're there yet. And I get it that every player has a different way of motivating people. But my main issue with Shaq is Shaq do a lot of criticizing, but he don't help nobody. When Akeem was saying, LeBron need to do this, that, and the third, he went and worked with LeBron. He went and lab with LeBron. When like Kobe, RP Kobe. Say what you want about Kobe, feel how you want about Kobe. But Kobe loved the game because he helped every single person that asked for it. When Jason Tatum came in the league, Kobe said he got the potential to do boom, boom, boom. He went and worked with him. When PG was coming up, he helped PG. When Kawhi was coming up, he helped Kawhi. When LeBron needed help, he helped
Kyrie.
LeBron. Giannis needed Kyrie, he helped Kyrie. He helped Giannis. When Ben McLemore was coming in the league, I take that back. He actually didn't say nothing.
Booker, he trained
I forgot
Booker.
he ain't know I've been McLemore.
It's a green iron Nesco. Everybody.
And like to your point, Cord, like Jaquez had mentioned that he thinks that Shaq thinks that people respect him in the league just like they respected Kobe. But people, they don't realize that
it's not the case.
Those young guys didn't respect Kobe just because he was a winner. They respected Kobe because he was a winner who went out his way to help other guys be better if they asked for it. And so
he was a hard worker. Shaq isn't a hard worker.
All those young guys,
and to me, that's why Shaq words don't carry as much weight as he think they do. Because when I'm gonna say this, when you saying that the Charles Barkley, it's understandable because even though Barkley is a legend, a lot of the players from his era consider him to be an underachiever. And even though Shaq got rings and MVPs and scoring titles, people still look at him like he was an underachiever. So when they come out and you saying that the players that still playing and they working every single day, it don't mean as much. Especially when you ain't like if Shaq was like, "Hey Rudy, I'm gonna show you how to do a hook shot. I'm gonna show you how to post up. I'm gonna show you how my footwork, this, that, and the third." You're not doing it.
No.
Well, so what's the point?
Go ahead, Cam.
I was about to say. So the thing, and this is kind of goes back to our Steph and LeBron. The thing is, Shaq says these things, and we talk about how he's not a hard worker, and maybe he should show these people how to do. Shaq can't show you how to be 7'1", 350 pounds.
Nope.
Like that's what he was. Shaq was a force of nature. You can't like I can see like niggas complain about LeBron, but LeBron got skill. Like niggas like just Steph and LeBron compares. At least LeBron got some skill. Not saying Shaq didn't have any skill, by the way, but not nearly as much as you would think. He just was a extremely large man who was able to physically dominate his opponents. And so for you to say all these things about these people, it's not going to ever be another Shaq. Or maybe there will be, but he won't be as good as Shaq was. But, I mean, you know, for Shaq to constantly come out and do these things that he does and say this stuff, and then for one, like you said, Cord, to not show anybody or to try to help anybody, and then on top of that, to be who he is and to not have the ability to say this stuff, and he underachieved in his career the way that we think he did. You know, his words start to hold less and less weight every time he says something.
I just want everybody to know there's other ways to motivate people other than just talking shit to them. Like that's not the only way that people respond to stuff. You know, the people jumped on DeLon Head months ago about him saying that, you know, the LeBron, not the LeBron, but the Michael Jordan way of leadership isn't always, that's not always the only way to be great. Like you can lead in multiple different ways and you can motivate in multiple different ways. Like you can give constructive criticism, but what Shaq gives is just criticism. Is when he points out something's wrong, but he doesn't tell you how to fix it or how to get better. It's like that's the worst kind of criticism you can get in any field. Is because the thing is, if Donovan Mitchell, if what he said about Donovan Mitchell is truly true, and Donovan Mitchell did not know how to get to the next step, and you're just telling him you can't get to the next step, I don't believe in you. That doesn't help him any if you're not going to actually show him what the next step is. He'll just be stuck in that mode. So even if he wants to get better, even if he goes in the gym every day and works hard on it, if he decides to work on the right things, then it doesn't matter. And that's the problem.
I will play a little bit of devil's advocate because what he did say about Harden the other day, I did actually find a lot of that to be true. And he was speaking from a place of, you know, understanding, because he said Harden didn't do what he's supposed to do in Houston. And he said the same way in my career, you know, I used to blame a lot of people and I used to do all these things. Yeah. And you know, the same as Harden, he said takes one to know one. And I said, see, now that's the type of criticism Shaq should be given. Like the blunders in his career, he should be told, you know, telling players how to get over those things. But instead of just telling, like you said, like I told Jordan, like just people respect Kobe because Kobe worked with other people. He was a hard worker, and he was also a winner. I don't think Shaq thinks he has that same amount of respect when he. I don't think he has that same round of respect. I don't think any of the newer players. Like, you know, a lot of people say, yeah, Kobe, he heavily influenced my game, or Kobe was my favorite player. I don't think I've ever heard an NBA player say Shaq was my favorite player growing up. No. Ever. Now, y'all, if you correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think I've ever heard that. Like,
well, the thing is, none of the big men don't say it either. And
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, even big men, I've never heard any of them say Shaq. I model my game after Shaq. Never heard any of them say it.
I've never heard Gobert say
that. Because the thing is, like, you can't. Exactly. How do you model your game after somebody who could just jump over three people and dunk on them? Like, you just can't. Like, it's like the iconic photo of like the Nets trying to stop him. And it's like four people and like one grabbing his arm, the other one grabbing his jersey, the other two like right up under him. You can't emulate that. Like, you can't go outside and practice. Hey, y'all four, stand right there. I'm gonna dunk on all four of y'all. Yeah, you can't practice that at home. So nobody
ain't got the body. It's impossible.
No, man. Like, literally cannot. So looking up.
Yeah, I was about to say that DeLon take was just a little different because he's never won anything in his life, so that's what made DeLon's take, you know.
DeLon's a loser. That's why he can't.
Fucked up, Cam. You don't know that I won the Long Beach Middle School spelling bee. You better ask about me.
Man, I forgot about that saga. Appreciate you, Jordan, for bringing that back up. That was hilarious.
They was so mad at DeLon about that.
That shit almost bad when the Pours got jumped. But anyway, we're gonna bring that back up. But Jaquez, I would say he's also the only thing that's crazy though about what Shaq was criticizing Harden is he's saying that, you know, he was saying it as a place like what he was saying it as if what you're doing is wrong, Harden. But the crazy thing is what Shaq did end up getting him titles. So it's like, yeah. That's the only thing about it, and that's the thing, and that's possibly what
no. I don't think he was talking about the moving teams part. I think he was saying you didn't deliver in Houston, and Shaq didn't deliver in Orlando. And he's saying when I got to the Lakers, I was like, I started looking at myself in the mirror, which he's saying Harden needs to do in Brooklyn is look himself in the mirror and fix the holes in his own game. And then this time he will be able to deliver and not get on the glimpse of it.
You're right, because he was actually criticizing Harden because Harden said that he gave the city of Houston all he could, but he was saying that's not true.
Which was cap.
That was cap.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that he said when he got to Brooklyn that I'm looking forward to making my teammates better. I'm gonna do whatever I can to make them better. Like he said, I don't care about averaging this many points as long as I make my teammates better. I said, I bet Houston wish you had that type of mentality when you were there.
I'm telling you.
I bet they wish that you were saying things like that when you were there. All he cared about was making points there. He didn't care about making people better there. But that's digress. He better. Can James Harden make people better on defense? I hope he can.
He got to make it.
No, the crazy thing is he's actually not a bad on-ball defender. It's his off-ball defense. His off-ball defense is just terrible, and that's just an effort thing. That's just I want to fight through the screen. I want to go on the screen. I want to rotate and help. That's a want to thing, and he's smart enough. He's too smart of a player to not understand. He understands those things. He just doesn't do it.
We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about Colin Sexton. I want to bring up. This might be what made me not believe in the Nets. Not believing in this. Colin Sexton was feeding them boys in that first game. He had 22 points in overtime. And I was sitting there watching it, and he was just killing Kyrie, just scoring over him. And Kyrie couldn't really stop him. And it was like, all right, y'all, we got to get Kyrie off of him. Jeff Green, you go hold him. Jeff Green.
No, KD switched on him one time, and he gave KD a bucket, too.
Yep. They took turns guarding him. All five of them
took turns. Hey, man. The young bull was cooking their ass, Jordan. That's all we chalk it up to.
But my point is this, that, like, when things get tough, you got to sit Jeff Green on somebody to try to stop him.
Jeff Green, your primary stopper.
Your team is in bad shape. All right.
You know who they need? That man named Torian Prince.
They need to sign Rhonda.
Only they had Torian Prince.
They need to sign Rhonda Hollis and Jefferson. I don't know why the Timberwolves cut him, and I don't know why nobody's picked him up. Like, I don't understand. Like, he was very good for the Raptors last year, a very good perimeter defender. Like, I don't get why he's not on an NBA roster. I would love it. The Clippers signed him, but next time,
you Chris Steele free.
But
this nigga Jordan wanted the Clippers to have every role player in the NBA.
I mean, anybody can literally have them if they wanted them, but they just don't want them. So shit, he fit a need. He fits a need a lot of teams have. He's a very good perimeter defender. Can't shoot a lick, but it's okay as long as everybody else on your team can shoot. And the Clippers have a team.
What Prince Luke Bute at, man?
Yeah, home, man. He never. Okay, so when he went to the Clippers, he had knee soreness the entire season. He did not play one game after he signed with the Clippers because he had knee soreness, and he ain't never touched the court again.
He went back to being a Prince.
Yeah.
Nigga went back to being royalty.
Prince, my Bute. Put some respect on his name. But next topic. This topic presented to you by DeLon. We're going to talk about music that you would play to tell somebody that you are in a dangerous situation or that you're being kidnapped. What's a song that you would play to show that you're being held captive? Like, you would play it on your Instagram story or your Snapchat, and then blink really hard into the camera, like in Morse code, like, please come say.
Oh, I'm playing Death Grips. Shouts out to Cord. Death Grips. Anything Mario Drew, anything Cord listen to while he cooks filet mignon. That's what I'm playing on my story. To let niggas know I am in
Mario
trouble.
Judah, Mario.
I'm gonna tell you what, Jacquez. If I turn into your IG and I hear Death Grips in the background, I'm gonna assume somebody's sharper than the axe to kill you. So
exactly. It's the end. It's the end game, Jordan.
I'm like, man, they got chainsaws over there. I said, hold on, man. We call Jacquez. He in trouble. What
check this nigga location.
What about you, DeLon?
And 2015 through 2017, if you heard Meek playing from my speakers, you know something. Right now, I'll probably say, because there's a lot of people who I listen to and I play it. But if I publicly played YoungBoy, if you heard me play or did play a YoungBoy song, send help.
I think I'd have to say Nav with and without the I. I think that's who.
Amen.
If I'm playing that, y'all, please come check on me, please. I'm down bad. That
hey, DeLon, if Jordan's playing Fashion Major, hey, something going on.
I had to stop my.
Need to pull up the original.
Corvette and Corvette song. If I'm on TikTok or anything, if y'all see me doing that dumbass challenge, please send help. That is a cry for help.
Somebody killing him.
He's not dancing. He is shucking and jiving.
I cannot stand that song, man, or that dance. But what about you, Cord?
Hey, man, I'm gonna keep it real with you. If you hop on my IG Live, and God's playing his own, I'm finna die.
I'm finna die. Mostly because you're finna kill yourself, huh, Cord?
guys playing.
Nah, Pistols is playing. Hey, I'm safe. But if guys playing on, come get me.
Nah, if I got, I'm upset going. I'm upset. literal tears going down my face. You know something going on.
You know what, Jordan? I got one. If you hear me playing anything from that Earl Sweatshirt album with the broken music, you hear any of that going on? Hey man, send help.
Come on now.
Now, the funny thing about this music,
help.
the funny thing about these music choices is that shit sound like somebody in distress, like the Death Notes. The Death Grip and Earl Sweatshirt. I hear that shit in the background anywhere. I'm thinking something's wrong with somebody. Oh man! Even I like that music. I don't play that shit out loud. Like I don't. Them songs are never played in my car when I'm driving. I only play them with my earbuds in. Like I can't imagine that shit out loud. But anyway, it's the last topic of the day. We're gonna talk about SexLand. That is,
yes sir.
Colin Sexton, Darius Garland, the backcourt of the future. Nope, the backcourt of the now. Have beaten the Nets in back-to-back games straight up. The team is currently, I think it changed after last night. The Cavaliers are currently the number 2 defense in the league, and I believe right now they have a winning record. Let me confirm what seed they are because I kind of forgot. They are currently the fifth seed, 8-7, just a game over 500. But a lot of that's because I think Colin Sexton missed like 5 straight games.
Yeah, him and Garland both got hurt for like 4 games in a row, 4 or 5 games in a row.
Their record was a lot.
I think Garland's still out.
His first game back was last night.
Yeah, Garland came back last night.
Okay.
So yeah, they're both back now. But when they were together, I think they're 6-2 when Darius Garland and Sexton play. So they've been really great. Top 2 defense in the league. Darius Garland, Sexton are both balling. I think Sexton's averaging close to around 26 points per game, maybe more. Yeah. They've required.
We're not gonna talk about Andre Drummond 20 and 20 games he done had this
season.
Come on now. We're not giving him his just dues.
Drummond's playing well.
Killed them to see it.
Taurean Prince and Jared Allen have been great acquisitions for the Cavaliers. The rookie they have, I think his name is Okoro. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah. Defensive god.
He's been playing really well. Been also doing on both sides of the ball actually. And the role guys Larry Nance Jr. apparently can shoot threes pretty well now.
Don't forget about the young GOAT Jetty Osman, LeBron prodigy.
Yes, sir.
Euro Larry Bird.
Yes, sir. So hilarious, Cord. So have the Cavaliers arrived, or will they be a playoff team?
So I'll say this, and I'm gonna go first. And it's interesting because every single time. So I remember when the Warriors drafted Steph, then they drafted Clay, and it was like, man, why are these people drafting all these guards? Like this isn't gonna work. And then it worked. So the Trailblazers came behind them, and the Trailblazers had Damian Lillard. Then they got CJ McCollum, and they were like, oh, yeah. And then I remember the Trailblazers GM came out, and he was like, find me a guy that's just as much like Damian Lillard in this draft as Damian Lillard was. And everybody's like, man, that's not going to work. You getting these 2 guards. It's not going to work. They're not going to be able to defend anybody. And it's worked. Then the Cavaliers drafted Colin Sexton, then Darius Garland. And everybody's like, man, they getting 2 players just like it's not going to work. And every single time that we've seen something like that happen, it has worked. And the Suns should have drafted Luka instead of DeAndre Ayton, and it would have worked. But every single time, what we're seeing is these young backcourts that have these players, and at least it's working in the regular season thus far, and it's getting teams to the playoffs. But every time we see these young backcourts who both can control the ball, who both can dish it and can both score off the dribble on their own, we're seeing that it's working and is able to get teams far. So, I mean, I like them. I think that they're good. I didn't think they were going to be this good. I'm not going to lie to you. I ain't going to hold you. But they've proven me wrong. I got Darius Garland in fantasy basketball, and I've been waiting on him to come back. He finally came back. So I'm happy with it. I hope that they continue to prosper. So, yeah.
The thing is, like you mentioned, like they do seem like a new age, Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum, because they're both like they seemingly score first guards, even though Garland has a knack for passing and getting people open. And I was thinking myself like, okay, so Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum backcourt, so what? They both can't defend. What could really elevate those two and make them not Dame and CJ is that they defend. And I've seen the improvements in Sexton. Sexton was like a bottom of the way people talk about Trae Young now. Sexton was like in his rookie season. He was a bottom of the league defender.
I was telling Jordan, this now, say, hey man, Colin gonna be the GOAT. Just wait on it.
He was telling me that Jaquez was, and I said his numbers are. I was like his shooting. Actually, I don't think his shooting numbers were that good his first year, but he had the points. I was like his shooting numbers were that good at points, and he's a guard though. Give him another year. The next year he actually got his efficiency up, but he was still a very, very bad defender. But this year he seems to be an average defender, and if he's average and Garland is average, then their ceiling is automatically higher than what CJ and Dames is, because now teams don't have to worry about their team just had to worry about covering for them, and that's no longer a weakness, a point of emphasis to worry about. They'll be, so because I think how tall is Sexton? He's short, isn't he?
6'3".
He's 6'3". Oh no, that's
numbers.
That's actually a decent height then if he's 6'3". So never mind.
Let's Google it.
Yeah.
Colin Sexton is 6'1". Oh. Darius Garland is
6'1" as well.
Yeah, they are both 6'1".
That's tough. I was gonna say, that's tough. They're going to be average defenders. They're going to have to be average defenders. Otherwise, they're going to struggle mightily in the future. But have they arrived now? Is SexLand the future, or is it the now?
Looking like it.
The defense.
But I'm not gonna say. I'm gonna say this, Jordan. I don't think it's just those two. I feel like the team that they have, like with City being able to knock down shots, Okoro being their lockdown defender, Drummond doing what he's always done, get boards and catch lobs and not trying to go outside of that. Kevin Love being that veteran leadership and still being able to stretch the floor and knock down shots. Now they add Taurean Prince and Jared Allen, who are both amazing role players. You know what I'm saying? Like just them adding those pieces, I feel like they have everything they need to succeed. So
a couple of teams that people universally didn't have in the playoffs are the Cavaliers, the Atlanta Hawks, and the New York Knicks. All three of them are currently in the playoff picture. Three teams that people had in the playoff picture are the Miami Heat, who are 6-8, the Toronto Raptors, who are 6-9, and those are the two main ones. With that being said, do you think the Cavaliers can hold on to a playoff spot? If the Heat and the Raptors were to overtake two teams, the Knicks, the Hawks, and the Cavaliers. I guess I would say the Knicks and Cavaliers, right?
I like them more. I like them more than I like the Wizards for sure. I like them more than I like the Knicks for sure. I can see them being at 8 seed. And then even if they are the 9 or 10 seed, I can definitely see them beating one of those other teams in the play-in. Definitely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's what heart, man. So the Cavaliers are finally up. Seem like they got their young pieces. Like Allen's a 22. I didn't realize he was that young. He's 22 years old. He fits the timeline with Sexton. And with Garland, he's going to be a good backline defender for them because those guys like I said, they're small, so they're not going to be able to defend all that well. They also got a very good defender in Okoro next to them. So, I feel like the pieces are there, and from this point on, they're only going to trend upward. I don't think it's going to be too much of we're going to tank for this, tank for that. I think now they're going to start trying to compete.
Yeah, and the most beautiful thing about all of it too is that next year they get they get Andre Drummond's contract off the books unless they decide they want to keep him, and then they got cap space on top of having good young players. Then that becomes a potential free agent destination. I don't know if niggas want to look at Cleveland, but hey, good basketball is good basketball regardless. If niggas see that, let's say they get a nigga like a Jimmy Butler. Granted it was Miami, but I'm saying Jimmy Butler didn't look at the Heat and was like, man, they got a lot of talent over here. Let me go and join them. No, Jimmy Butler was like, they have young talent and I want to go be the man. Let's say there's somebody who is like a Jimmy Butler. I really don't know who, but it's like, let me go be the man on this team. It's the Eastern Conference. Anything's possible. So I definitely see them as probably the playoff team this year and moving forward as well with these young pieces they have.
Be real, you can. I don't think they should re-sign Drummond because I think the center that really fits the timeline is going to be Jared Allen. Like, I feel like he's going to be the starting center of the future. So it doesn't really make sense to invest like a bunch of money in Drummond. And he's not your guy that fits this team. But with that being said, maybe they should. For the simple fact is, they're not going to sign anybody with that cap space. LeBron couldn't get people to come to the Cavaliers. So
he could get, he had everybody named mama after they prime. IT, D Wade.
Yeah, but that's natural.
Derrick Rose.
Jordan, you gotta look at it. You gotta look at it this way. LeBron could have got people, but he wanted the best of the best. But Cleveland, they just need somebody.
Ain't gonna lie, but think about this. LeBron can get the best of the best. If LeBron can get if LeBron can only get average people, and he's who LeBron is, what are these average niggas gonna get to Cleveland? Exactly. I'm with Jordan on that one.
Yeah, so
I don't know. It's gonna be tough.
It's gonna be tough, but like I said, they could always re-sign him maybe for a lower price and then use Drummond as an asset to trade and get somebody that's actually going to fit their team. But I
don't send that man to Charlotte for some picks.
Yes, sir.
Michael Jordan would do it too.
Or they can send him.
LaMelo needs a center. I like Biz Biyombo, but he's not the one.
What's man? I know Sam and Brandon and all the other Celtics fans I follow are gonna be mad at this. But send him to the Celtics. Celtics got a big ass trade exception.
No, they do need him. They do. Him.
They need. Embiid will turn the Tristan Thompson to a pack.
But take that back because Embiid has a history of turning Drummond into a pack.
Hey man, he better than Tristan Thompson. Let's step up.
He makes that boy look. I don't know. He makes that boy look silly every time they play. But that's all topics I got. You guys got any closing thoughts?
Hey man, I need everybody to tweet Danny Lay and go on tell her to drop that Yellow Bone song. I need that. That's all funny.
That was you want Core.
That's what I want.
Of all the things you could ask for.
Hey, that song funny, man. That song funny. Is it good? No. Would I listen to a project? No. But I like this song.
Anybody? Okay, so Danny Lay praise and support. Anything else before we leave this?
I ain't got nothing to say after that, man.
All right. So, like I said, next week we will be uploading an episode to YouTube and YouTube only. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you definitely subscribe to us on YouTube at Popular Demand Podcast, and make sure you check out that great episode. We got some good people on there. Thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Popular Demand Podcast. Tune in next week for another episode of your favorite podcast. See you then.